Hello, this is Kaushik Bose from Campus Technology, a portfolio company of Times of India Group. And today I'm going to talk about a very important skill called imagination. Now, what is imagination and why this imagination skill is so important in our everyday life? That is something which we are going to talk about and discuss and find out why is imagination so important. Now, if we have to define imagination, like what is imagination? I have spoken to many people, I have spoken to my students, asked this question. If I have to define it in a very simple way, so what can be imagination? Uh, it comes from your mind, that's for sure. So, and the thought which comes to all of us, the creative thoughts which comes to all of us can be defined as imagination. So in simple word, we can say that imagination is the creative thought which we have, which we create in our mind. Now, how does this help us? How does this help us? It allows everyone, adults, kids, to develop creativity. And this creativity is actually varied in different ways. It is it is one of the problem solving skill. It is also a very important skill to acquire experience and knowledge about the world, to understand better someone else's perspective, to solve problems, as I said before, to create and interact with artistic works, and many, many, many more. So, when we start talking about creativity and imagination, why do we think imagination is important? I kept on discussing this as I sit with many people around me. Since I'm a teacher, I keep asking questions and I try to learn from others. I try to understand their perspectives. That whatever is my understanding, whatever is others' understanding, are they coming close, and we agree to a certain point. So if I a very important question which I have asked was, why is imagination important in our profession, teaching, say? So I have seen students with good imagination skill can advance their all-round cognitive development and progress in all areas of the curriculum, and that is a very important part of their education. With writing, especially, children with strong imagination are more likely to become confident writers, creative writers. So imagination is a very important tool for us teachers, which we try to share with our students, so that it becomes one of the essential part of the learning process. And the next question automatically follows is, what is imagination in education? Now, imagination is an important aspect of education because it allows students to explore new ideas and approach problems in a new and interesting ways. It also assists students in developing critical thinking, and this is a very important skill. You can watch my video on critical thinking skill, and understanding complex concepts in a more meaningful way. So what imagination helps us, like, it gives us an extra edge. It gives us that extra thought, that extra how can I say this, that extra stride to understand something better with my own intellect. Now, uh, why are imaginative learners important? I have, in my 30 years of experience, I have noticed imaginative learners uh, are very are always ahead of others. They seek meaning. They will try to ask questions. They will always uh, ask for clarity, as well as personal associations and involvement. They are extremely involved in any work. They learn by listening to others and sharing ideas. A group of people working, I have seen a group of students. I gave them a creative writing topic, and one or two of them automatically they are leading the group because they are more imaginative than the other. They are coming up with ideas. They are giving specific uh, storylines, and the others, those who are not so imaginative, in that process they are also gaining from them, because something which they did not think, they also start thinking, and as a result the whole group, they give their input. So the leaders, the imaginative people become automatic leaders, you know and that group, that teamwork, actually they build trust through the personal interactions in that team, and that becomes a bonding. I have found out that, I have seen it, that people, they like to work in those groups where there are people who like to share, you see. So this is something very interesting, and that's why imagination is extremely powerful. Now, so automatically a question comes: what is the power of imagination? Now we can very easily say that imagination is the ability to form a mental image of something that is not perceived through the five senses which we have. It is the ability of the mind to build mental senses, psychological senses, objects, or events that do not exist and are not present or have happened in the past. So, that is imagination. I hope you know on this context that human being was the most and is the most imaginative species in this earth, because human being always wanted to know more. All the evolutions which have happened, all in these thousands of years, this is because of two things. One is, human being by nature is a very curious species, and secondly, human being can imagine, and that is the most interesting part of our brain. Our brain can imagine, and that is the reason why the inventions, the discoveries, they became so evident in human life. So that becomes extremely interesting, and we can say that for human being, imagination becomes the key to success. You can ask, is imagination the key to success? The ability to imagination is one of the most important keys to success, by the way. After all, if you can't imagine something, how can you achieve it? I have to come first in the class. So, how do I do it? How do I go about it? What are the things I have to do extra? Something more, something which my classmates are not doing, not thinking. How do I do it? How do I plan it? Imagination comes here. Some most successful people in the world are those who have been able to tap into their imaginations and use it to their advantage. On this note, I can tell you that intelligent people, intellectual people, creative people, by default, imagination is their second nature. They imagine automatically, it happens. So that's the reason why imagination becomes so important in every sphere of life, especially for us teachers and students in education. You see, we have a lot of imaginative games, and the students play them and builds and that builds key cognitive capacities like problem solving, planning, mental flexibility, focus. Problem solving kids learn to think on their feet, improvise storylines, and collaborate to bring exciting ideas to life. For college students like you all, imagination can help you build up friendship, and that you can use your imagination to to develop your interactive interpersonal skills. Now, on that note, if I can there is another question which comes: what is imagination in a classroom? In a classroom, students are encouraged, should be encouraged to think outside the box. This you must have been must have heard from your teachers when you were in school, in any English literature class, uh, or creative writing class, that think out of the box and approach problems from multiple angles. And this is a very important learning which imagination teaches us. This can be a life skill. Like, how do we approach problems from multiple angles? Say, I am weak in a particular subject. I'll be giving you an example of your field since you are students. Say you are uh, weak. Just giving an example in mathematics. See, so how to approach to that, and how to become that weakness into strength. So what are the things? So here comes planning. So I am going to plan that I am going to make a timetable, and in that timetable I am going to make mathematics a everyday practice. So maybe after I come back from my college, so I'll give, say, 1 hour to mathematics. It was told to us when I was in my school that mathematics is best done early in the morning, because your minds are fresh at that point of time, and your brain works faster than normal, because your brain is extremely fresh, refreshed after a sleep, good night sleep. So that you plan it, that if I do it this way, this important word if actually help us in imagination. If I work this way, if I seek help from my teacher, from my classmate, if I do this sums more. So all these things which goes in our mind, we tend to take that for granted. But if you actually see what actually happened to us, is we are applying our imagination. We use a variety of techniques to foster creativity, such as, say, brainstorming sessions. We make groups, or maybe randomly we give a topic. Say, for example, say, deforestation, and I say that on this note, on this deforestation, if you can create a conversation between two characters, what is deforestation? And from there, I have noticed the students start working on that issue, on that topic, And as a result, slowly we go to global warming from one end to another end. And how does this happen? That happens with the help of imagination. And from there, say the story was made on deforestation. Say the characters are maybe, say, for example, two animals, so an animal and a bird, say a bull and an owl, they are talking. I just remembered a very interesting short play by D.M. Larson called The Owl, the Bull, and the Forest, where a bull and an owl speaks throughout the play. Inside a forest, the bull was trying to break the trees, and he because someone asked him to, and the owl stops him, convinces him not to do that. It's all the throughout the play, it's a persuasion. The owl persuades with the bull, and the whole process, every time the owl is coming up with one point after another. It's so interesting that how imagination, if you do this, then this might happen, if you do this, then this might happen. So it kept on, the owl kept on persuading the bull, and at the end, the bull, who was supposed to be not so intelligent one, accepted and said that, I'm sorry, I will leave and I will not disturb you anymore. So in this particular play, I'll give you the name, The Owl, the Bull, and the Forest by D.M. Larson. You can just read this, and it's very interesting. It looks like a child's play, but it's actually not. It's a very matured, interesting, and important play script. So from brainstorming sessions, we came to role playing. Say I ask my student, one of them can become a bull and the other can become the owl, and I can say that, see, these are the problems. So deforestation is a problem, the bull is trying to break down the owl's tree and the other trees, and how the owl will persuade. Think, you imagine you are an owl and imagine you are a bull, how will you persuade? And that becomes very interesting. That role playing exercise becomes very interesting, and the change based learning activities are have improved, are so important in today's world. So that is something which tells us how important imagination is in a classroom. Like, you also can do it any important things. I have seen, even in science, and even in humanities, there are many a times when teachers have asked students to do role plays, and through role plays we have seen the chemical equations were made. Through role plays we have seen that people tend to remember stuff more. In history, a character is giving a speech, and automatically the perspective of that character comes to the other people, and the learning becomes fun, as well as learning becomes easier and more simpler. So that's why we teachers tend to use imagination tools in everyday life, and also in our everyday class. So, as I said, it is the ability, imagination is the ability to create new ideas or to think creatively. Storytelling, creating a picture, an art, playing a music, acting. These are very normal examples of imagination. Imagination is very important in our development of our mind, because you see, I always believe that if we keep on practicing something, then imagination, or any other skills, then that particular skill can be mastered. You see, so if someone asked me, what is the concept of imagination, you see, I can just say that the act or the power of forming a mental image of something not present to the senses or never before wholly perceived in reality can be stated as imagination. As I said in the beginning of my discussion, that they are our, in short, creative thoughts, the creative abilities. So I had I have asked this, that why it is called imagination. I always have a very strange fascination of understanding the root of the words, the meaning of the words. Uh, I mean that I have learned and I have heard that this term imagination comes from the Latin verb imaginary, meaning to picture oneself. From there, this root definition of the term indicates the self reflexive property of imagination. You see, emphasizing the imagination as a private sphere. Like when I am imagining, no one knows what I'm imagining. And that's very private. We all know what I mean when we imagine what happens. You know what I mean. One of my student asked me a very interesting question. And let me tell you, I could not answer it. I am asking the same question to you all. I would like to hear from you on this note. My student asked me, is imagination powerful than knowledge? I instantly said yes, but then I said, well, we can discuss this and we can come to a conclusion that yes, imagination is powerful than knowledge. You see, a vivid imagination frees us from the bounds of deductive reasoning. A truly creative and innovative are not stymied by an unclear path or lack of knowledge. They imagine the goal, what we want to achieve. We imagine the goal, what we want to achieve, and then build the path to it. You see, like as I said, mathematics, the whole concept of mathematics came from imagination. It's very, I know it's something all of us, I mean, I'm also thinking while I'm discussing this, I'm also thinking it's giving me many thoughts one after another. I will tell you another funny question which a college student recently asked me. Actually, we were having a theater activity and we were talking about imagination, and then he asked me, "Sir, is imagination good or bad?" Now, I mean, these are perspectives, good, bad, ugly. These are all perspectives. Something which is good to you can be bad to me, bad to you can be good to me, whatever. I mean, if I talk from a kid's or child's perspective, it allows the kids to develop creativity, problem solving, and other important life skills. I always believe that adults should encourage imaginative play for the children around them wherever possible. Giving kids opportunity to use their imagination helps with many aspects of development, from social skills to motor function. This is one part of it. The other part is, what about the adults? Now, I understood that when I grew up, I have decided on my imaginations. Like what will I imagine? What am I thinking? What is my imagination? When I was a child, I used to look up in the sky and I used to make formations of the cloud. I'm sure many of you have done it, or yeah, done it. So that was my first imagination, those white cumulus clouds looked like polar bears at times, or big rabbits, or different shapes, even a cat. And I kept on. I used to love uh, imagining that. We used to have a banana tree in our old house, and over there, whenever at night there was a particular road lamp which, whenever it went on in the evening, it looked like a woman standing and moving. And trust me, we all, me and my cousins, we used to be very scared to go to that window where we could see that banana tree from behind. I mean, it was that scared, that fear also came from our imagination. You see, so as I said, it can be good, it can be bad. It's up to us how we are imagining and how we are controlling our imagination. Now, there is one more interesting question someone asked me. uh, is imagination a skill or a quality? So, in short, imagination is a skill. Some people are much better at it than others, but it is something that we can improve, acquire with practice. Say, uh, you are in an argument and debate that one concept is right, and you work on that, and you say that you have got 3 points for that, and then when you work more on that, you got 6 points. So that is a way we tend to improve. In recent work, I have argued that this folk concept is right, and I have developed a rough framework of taking a skill based approach to imagination. You see, so it's a concept. It's definitely a life skill, supported by studies in the field of neuropsychology, which argue that it is possible to reframe anxiety into positive resources. This study concludes that reframing and imagining should be considered powerful life skills. So, imagination is indeed a powerful life skill. Now, how to teach someone imagination? I think it's a very natural way of it happens, and as I said, you practice it. You help each other to activate. I mean, especially the children, to activate the imagination. The importance has to be discussed. The questions which are asked should be thoughtful, mindful, which gives us the element to think. The experiences which we make throughout the day with different people, different places, different things, objects, etc., gives us an opportunity. So it teaches, imagination teaches us, we can learn imagination from all sphere of life, and it teaches us that very important life skill, which we need to acquire. So I will give you certain exercises in my video, in my activity part, and I would request you to do those activities and experience the imagination, the skill which you are applying at that point of time. Okay, so I mean, I will conclude it with another very important question and a pertinent question: that how does imagination create knowledge? Imagination generates idea that may not be available through perception, memory, or other cognitive capacities. We may go on to consider these ideas, and this may lead to new knowledge of cognizant facts. So, you see, the idea, the spark, the stimulus which we get from that very important skill, imagination, helps us to create knowledge. So, uh, how does it work? A number of neuroscientists have proposed that imagination is a result of a tinkering that combines and modifies stored perceptual information and concepts, leading to the creation of novel mental objects that are shaped by the subject's peculiar inner world, related to a person's self-awareness. So it works like that. So I will conclude my video on this very interesting. I can keep on talking on imagination. I'm sure you can keep on talking. We all can discuss. I would like to know your perception of imagination. I will just give you a very small, interesting exercise in imagination. Say, uh, this is a marker. We all know this is a marker. Now, suppose the activity is keeping the shape and size almost same, use this marker as something else. I will repeat, keeping the shape and the size almost same, use this marker as something else. So I'll give you an example and you can't use that while you are imagining. See, I don't have any place to uh, make it stand. I'll try to know it won't. It will go out of the camera. Suppose I'll just do this. Watch me. Could I prove that? Are you thinking, what am I holding right now? Could I prove that it's a candle? Right. So, keeping the shape and the size, I'm sorry, keeping the shape and the size almost same, I have used this marker as a candle. So, I'm sure you can use other stuff also. You have to use five different objects and use those five different objects as five different things, again keeping the shape and the size almost same, and make a small video on that. Do not tell what you are making, just apply your imagination and then come up with some interesting things. You cannot use this marker anymore, but you can use any random objects around you. Five objects keeping the shape and the size almost same, use those objects as something else, make a video, upload it in the YouTube, and send us the link. I am eager to watch how you apply your imagination skill. So I will be concluding my video here, and I'll be coming up with some other videos very soon. So thank you so much. Happy imagining, and enjoy yourself. And please don't forget to do the activity. It is fun. Trust me, try it once. It is really fun. So today I'm concluding my imagination video. Have a good day. Thank you.